Hello my lovelies, welcome or welcome back to the channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're gonna be working on this crop sweater with a scarf. So something that I thought would probably look nice and unique is to do a sweater but also add a scarf that is attached to it. So hopefully you guys will find this interesting and try it out. It's very easy. We use a very simple stitch, which is pretty much a back loop double crochet for the whole project. And as well, we're using this really chunky yarn that is going to make a crop sweater that is really good for really cold climates. So yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy this different concept that I tried out here, which is pretty much a sweater with a scarf attached to it. Okay, all right, let's go grab our stuff and get started. Okay my lovely, so before we get started with the tutorial, I'm going to show you the materials you need for this project. As you can see here, I have my yarn. It's a chunky medium weight number 4. As you can see here, this particular skein here is 932 meters long, and it is recommended hook size is 6mm crochet hook or J10 US. It's 100% premium acrylic, and this yarn here is Pound of Love by Lion Brand Yarns. Okay, the color is cherry, so you can use any color that you want for this project, but this is what I'm using for my crop sweater. Okay, for crochet hook size, I will be using a little bit smaller 5.5mm crochet hook, and this is a I9 US. I have my scissors here, my darning needle, some stitch markers, and a tape measure to be able to determine our size. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so I'm just going to explain a little bit of the project here. So I'm doing this a little bit different than I usually do. I have a panel here for the body that I've already completed, and I have a panel here for the sleeve that I've already completed. Now, the reason I'm doing it like this is because I have completed the two, and we're just duplicating this exactly the same for the two next panels, which is going to be either the back or the front panel and the other side of the sleeve. Okay, so with that said, like that, again, very simple stitch that I'm making this with, nothing too complicated at all. So this is probably geared more towards the beginners, so that you can learn to do just projects with very simple stitches like this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do a panel like this. I'm gonna start a panel like this. I'm gonna talk about the sizing, how you want to get your size, but it is a cropped sweater, so obviously it's gonna be a lot shorter than your normal sweater. But if you want to do it as a long sweater as well, you can. You just have to do more stitches than I do with this one here, and I will also explain how many stitches are used for the sleeve. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on the side so we can start a panel for the body together. Okay, my lovelies, so to start the panel for the body here, so again, because it is a crop, I'm going to do about 40 stitches. So I'm going to start by doing a slip knot here, just like that, and then I'm going to start by doing a chain of 40. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 40. Okay, so this is our chain of 40 here, and I'm going to add 2 chains for a turning chain. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to skip those 2 chains, and in the third I'm going to go in the back of that, and I'm going to complete a double crochet. Then I'm gonna go into the next, and I'm gonna complete a double crochet. And then into the next, I'm going to complete a double crochet. And as you can see, we're just going to do this all the way to the end of the chain. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the first row here, just a simple row of double crochet. Okay, and that is how it looks. So I'm going to show you how to do row 2, and that's going to be the repeat for the rest of this part. So 1, 2, so we start by a chain of 2, just like that. You turn, and this chain 2 here counts as a double crochet, which corresponds to this double crochet here. So it means you work into the next stitch, which is the next one from that, and you're going to go in the back loop and complete a double crochet, just like this. Okay, and then you're going to move on to the next stitch, you're gonna grab the back loop of that stitch and complete a double crochet. Then you're gonna move on to the back and complete a double crochet. Then you're gonna move on to the back of the next stitch and grab the back loop and complete a double crochet. So we're doing something that looks like this, okay? So if you see the one that I had completed here, we are trying to create this texture here, okay? And this is going to look the same exactly on both sides because we turn our work as we work to the end, and then we will chain 2, turn, and then repeat this again. So this is a very simple stitch. I'm doing very simple projects here that all of you out there who are beginners can do and just kind of create something nice and very good looking, but using very simple stitches. There are some things on the channel as well, of course, that are a little bit more of an advanced, intermediate to advanced level. But if you're a beginner and you just want to start by doing something that is simple, that's not going to stress you out too much, this is why I'm doing these simple crochet projects, okay? So you're going to continue these all the way to the end. When you get to the end, as part of my preference, I will do my final back loop double crochet here, and then I will do a double crochet on top of the chain 2 for the final stitch. So don't forget that final stitch. This here is a stitch that you will need to work into. So you have to count 1, 2, and on top right here, you're going to do a double crochet. Then you will chain 2 and then turn your work and then repeat again. And you're going to repeat this until you have half of your circumference. So what I mean by that is you're going to get your tape measure, just something like this. You're going to measure the widest part of your bust. So let's say it comes up to 40 inches. So let's say you put this around your body and it comes up to 40 inches like this. And this is how wide you are, let's say, okay? So for you to create a part of the panel that will fit you, you have to do something that will altogether come to up to this. So which means for the one of the panels, you want to make sure that you get to 40 inches. Or sorry, to 20 inches. You get to 20 inches. This is how long you want your one panel to be. Because if you add the other 20, that will be the back panel. Then you get your 40, okay? So for me, I want my sweater to be tight. And as you can see, of course, it's a crop sweater. This is why it's very short. It's not too long. But I want this part here to fit me tight and not to fit me in a loose way, okay? Comfortable but tight. So this part of my panel here is about 15 inches, which means altogether it's gonna be about 30, like this. And this is the circumference of my widest part of my torso when it fits tight. If you want it to be tight, make sure you measure it and then it's tight. If you want it to be loose, you can always add a few more rows to make it looser so that your sweater is a little bit on the loose side, okay? So like I said, I want my sweater to be on the tight side. I'm going to do 30. This is 15 inches here. The next part will be 30 inches. So with that said, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm doing 24 rows. And I'm counting only 12 because I'm counting only these bumpy parts here. But this is 24 rows that I'm completing here. Okay, so which means for my second panel that I've just showed you guys how to start here, I am going to do 24 rows. When I've completed that, I will come back and then we will have our 2 panels done. I will not show you guys how to do the panels for the sleeve because it's exactly the same thing except it's longer. But I will finish the second panel for the body first, and then I'll bring the first panel for the sleeve that I've completed to show you guys how to work that one, okay? I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my second panel here for the body. So as you can see, for our first one, it's this one here. And of course, when I ended the project, I cut the yarn a little bit long so we can use it to join, okay, the 2 panels. So that is how it looks so far for one. And then this is the second one that I've completed here. Okay, exactly identical pieces, nothing is off at all. So very simple to do because you just have to repeat what you did for the first to be able to get the second. So now that I have my second panel here completed, we're going to eventually join it. We're going to make sure we have our armholes completed or like sectioned out, and then we're going to complete the sleeves. But I have one of the sleeves completed already, so I'll take this and put it on the side so I can show you guys what the sleeve one looks like, which is just literally a version of that, but a little bit longer. And this is how it looks like, okay? So to do the sleeves here, I just measured from somewhere here. I may add a little bit of a calf later, but for now it's going to fall kind of somewhere right here for me, and then it goes all the way up to the top of my shoulder. Okay, so this is how my sleeve is gonna look like when I'm done with it. Okay, if I don't end up doing the calves because maybe I don't have enough yarn left, this is how it will looks like. And if I have the calves completed, I will make sure then that completes the remaining of the space here. Okay, now it's up to you if you want to leave your sleeves flared out like this, which may as well be an option for me for later, because I don't know. Then you will, if you want it to go all the way, then you will make sure you do it so that it covers this part of your hand like this, so that you don't have it going up like mine is gonna be. So all right, to do this, nothing is different from what we did here, except for this. I did 60 stitches. Okay, so I started with 60 chains plus 2 for the turning chains, and then I did exactly the same thing we did for this, which is just work a double crochet for the first row. Then for the second row and onwards, I did double crochets in the back loop, and this is why they look pretty much identical. And well, they're identical in terms of this stitch because we're using the exact same stitch. And in terms of rows, for the sleeve, I ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24 rows as well. Okay, because again, I want my sleeve to be loose. So this is how my sleeve is going to fit. It's going to be extremely loose, and I want it like this. This is my preference. And if I do end up doing a calf at the end, it's going to bring the end here a little bit in, which means I will show you guys how to do a reduction stitch here to bring it in. But if I don't, then it will just end up staying flared out like this. Okay, so this is 24 rows, and it's very loose because I have very small wrists. But on top, it's going to be a tiny bit tighter because I have a little bit of a bigger bicep compared to obviously my wrist here. Okay, so I have completed my first sleeve here. I will want you guys to go do the both, because at this one you haven't done the two. Go and do 2 of your sleeves exactly identical like this. When you have 2, come back, which will mean you have 2 sleeve panels and you have 2 body panels. So 4 panels all together. Come back and I'll show you how to join and how to move on to the next part of the project. Okay, I hope you guys like this new way of doing the video like this. I know it's different than what I usually do, but I wanted to try something different, but also because we're making 4 panels that are exactly the same. So I'm talking more than I'm actually doing. So hopefully that is not bothering you so much. If it is, please let me know in the comment section below. If it's not, tell me as well if you prefer this method. Okay, I will see you guys when you have your 4 panels completed. Okay, my lovelies, so I have my 2 panels here for the sleeves as well. So this is the second one completed. This is the first one we did, and just like I did the body sleeves or the body panels, I left a long yarn to be able to join. Okay, and as you can see here, I have both of those. So again, the 2 sleeve panels are here completed, and the 2 body panels here are completed. Now we're gonna start with the body panels in terms of joining them. Now you're gonna be able to pretty much place this however you want, but this is how it's gonna go against your body. It's gonna go against your body like this. So this is a front, that's the back, or vice versa. But the main thing is we want to make sure we have the hanging yarn like this. One is on the right, then you place the other one on top of it, something like this, and the other one is on top like this. And the reason we're doing it like this is so that, actually we will reverse it, so that we can use this to join this side and we can use this to join this side. That's why we do it like that. Okay, so we're gonna do it like this, and all we have to do here now is we're going to join the top here. We're going to take your stitch markers wherever mine are, and I don't see mine right now. I will need to grab them because those are important. But while I'm going to get mine, I'll explain quickly what you need to do. When you line up your work like this, you're going to determine your neckline, and when you have decided how wide or narrow you want your neckline to be, you're going to put the stitch marker. So you're going to kind of go in like this and put a stitch marker, and then come in on the other side and put a stitch marker, which I think I'm going to go in and put them here so that this is my neckline right here. But I need to get my stitch markers first. Give me a second. Okay, so I have my stitch markers here. I had to go find these guys because I always misplace them. But yeah, I'm going to pretty much count 1, 2, 3, which is 6 stitches here, but in the center of the 6, which will make it 5 that I will close up, I will put my stitch marker there, and I'll do the same on the other side. So 1, 2, 3. So in the top or the middle of the 6th one, I will put a stitch marker there like that, and I'll do the same for this side where I count 1, 2, 3 here, and then 1, 2, 3. So in the middle here, so 5. I'm pretty much going to close off 5 stitches, and the rest of them are going to be my neckline. So this is going to be my neckline right here. Okay, now with that done, I'm going to take my darning needle, and I'm going to put the yarn in the darning needle so we can join that top part. So I just bring these in like this, and I use that right here. Voila. And then I'm going to join this guy from here to here. So to do that, very simple, I'm just going to go into this stitch here and then into the first stitch on the other side. I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna do that one more time to lock it in like that. And then for the rest of it, I'm just going to grab a little bit at a time and go over, because we don't have definite stitches that we're using here. So I'm just using a little bit of yarn on top, and as you can see, I'm spacing it not too far apart but not too close together either, just like we would have been doing if there were actually stitches here. So just something like that. Okay, so very simple. Oh, I hope I was not off camera the whole time, but just something like that. We join, we go to the next part right there, we join, we go to the next part, and again, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, so just complete this from here to where the stitch marker is. So your final one will go where the stitch marker is, and then move your darning needle to the other side. Use, if you had any yarn that you had left hanging, use that yarn to join that section, and then come back to the video when you have completed that, and I will show you how to join the sides and how to get out, make our armhole, how much, depending on how big your arms are, how small your arms are, or how wide you want your your sleeves to be, or how narrow you want your sleeves to be, because you can have really thin arms like me and want to angle out bigger, but it's most likely gonna be determined by the sleeves that we have already completed. But for now, as you can see here, I'm pretty much coming to the end. I'm gonna remove my stitch marker like that. Then I'm gonna do the final one where the stitch marker was, like that, and I'm gonna go into that one again, but this time I'm gonna loop my yarn around like that, then lock it in, and then I'm going to cut my yarn here like that. Voila. Then I will take this and put it on the other side. So as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna flip it like this. So just so you can see, this is pretty much where we joined it, right here like that. And this is gonna be the inside of our sweater. This is gonna be the outside. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the exact same thing here, and when I finish this, I will come back to show you guys what to do next. Okay, so you guys, okay, my lovelies, so I have joined the second side as well. So as you can see, this is the joining here, this is the joining on this side. We haven't weaved in the leftover yarn yet, and like I said, we're gonna be flipping this eventually, and this is gonna be the inside or the outside of our work. So it's a little bit neater compared to the side that we joined it in, just because we don't have definite stitches to join our work. So it's a little bit not messy, but you know, you can tell that this is a joining here, and we don't want that seam to be seen here. So eventually this will be the outside of our work. So with that, with the inside of our work. So with that said, we're gonna join in the sleeves to it. And the way that I find it easier to do is I'm going to flip my work like this. Okay, and I'm going to, actually, I'm gonna flip it the other way around like this, and I'm going to get one of the sleeves, just one of these guys here, and I'm going to have the yarn that was hanging to face away from me like that, and I'm going to place it just exactly somewhere like this. So this is going to determine my sleeves, because I already have my sleeves completed. I am going to be able to just join it to the work like this without worrying, measuring out how much armpit or how much sleeve area I want. The only thing that you want to absolutely make sure is that you have the number of stitches that are matching here. So as you remember, we have 12 altogether. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this section here is the middle. This is why I lined it up with this section here like this. So this is gonna be the middle of my work. I'm going to take one of the stitch markers and I'm going to put it in the opposite side. So on the left hand side here, I'm going to grab a stitch and just put that there like this. Okay. And then the second one I'm going to put in the middle, because we don't want these parts here to move around. I'm going to grab that and put it in the middle. So as you guys know, this was the middle here. Wait, just want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so this is the middle here, and that is the end, and this is where we're gonna start joining the work from. So I'm going to flip my work like this, and then I'm gonna start by joining my work from here, and then I'm gonna go across all the way to where the other stitch marker is. So again, to do that, we're going to just make it very simple. We're going to get some yarn and we're going to put that in our darning needle. Make sure it's long enough that it will go across from this side to that side, so that you don't run out in the middle and then you have to get more yarn to continue. So I'm gonna take a long yarn here, and then I'm going to go and join it from here. And better yet, I'm going to count how many stitches I have left on this side, so to be even more accurate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So on the 14th stitch is where I'm gonna go in and join my work with the body of the sleeve, or the panel of the sleeve. So I'm gonna go there and pull, and I'm going to just connect that here to make sure it doesn't come apart. Then I'm going to take the sleeve, and keep in mind, one side we have definite stitches to work with, which is this side here, to again that close to me. On the other side we don't. So we're just gonna make sure we are using the stitches on this side and match it as closely to the other side as possible. So again, because there's no stitches, just make sure you're grabbing a little bit of the yarn, not too much and not too little. That is going to look very stringy. So like this, okay? So with that said, I'm going to join this all the way past the middle stitch marker that shows us where the middle is, because we want to make sure that we're aware of where the middle is, so that we don't make it one side too long and one side too short. And then we're going to cross all the way to the other stitch marker that is at the end. And at the end, make sure you count out that you have 13 stitches left by the time you do your final, you sew your final stitch. And then if that is done, when that is done, you're going to flip it to the other side and do the exact same thing on the other side. And when you have completed both sides, come back and I will show you how to join the other side, so which is pretty much joining the sleeve all the way to the body of the sweater. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Make sure you join both sides, and then come back when you have both sides joined, just the way we're starting here. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I joined the sleeves here to the body of the sweater. So I just wanted to quickly show you how this all looks like before we put it all together. If you put it together like this, it looks like a big cross almost. But yeah, this is how it looks so far. And then of course, when we flip it in, we will be able to have the body and the sleeves kind of coming out. So this part here will obviously be a sleeve, and that is a sleeve, and then the body's the back and the front panel right here. Okay, so let's go back on the work table. Okay, my lovely, so we're back at the work table here. So as you can see, this is pretty much how our sweater looks so far. We haven't joined the bottom of the sleeves yet, so we still have all this here to be able to join as well as this part of the sweater. So a little bit of the body of the sweater here, we need to join that, and we will do the same for the opposite side. So I'm not going to show you guys how to do that on camera. It's very easy. As you can see, all throughout here we're going to have stitches that we're going to follow, and you're going to just line everything up and just work. Okay, so I have the long yarn that I had left for each sleeve, so I'm going to start on the sleeve side, and I'm going to work myself all the way to here, and then when I get to here I'm going to join this section here as well. So I'm going to go from here to here, and then I'll repeat on the other side. So go ahead and do the same. When you have your sweater pretty much look like it's completed, come back to the video because it's not completed yet. We still have the top here to work with. Okay, so let me see you guys when you have completed joining the rest of the bottom here. Okay, my lovelies, so the sweater is joined. So as you can see here, we have our sleeves that are joined all together, nothing else left here. This is the sides that we joined it in, and of course if you go to the other side, we have done the same. Okay, so this is our sleeves here. Now as I said, this will be our inside. So for the next part of this project, I'm going to flip my work inside out, which in actuality is actually going to be the part that is going to show as the outside. And as you can see, I've already weaved in all of my hanging strings, so anything where I had cut the yarn because I had completed the rows or whatever the case is, I have removed all of those. So now our work is as clean as we would be wearing it. Okay, now with it done like this is technically one way you could just leave your sweater like this and it's done, but I'm going to go a step further and we're going to add a scarf to it. Okay, so the way I'm gonna do that, and this is optional for you, by the way, if you think this is a completely foolish idea, please don't follow my instructions. Just go ahead and not do that. But for me, I'm going to add a scarf here, and I've never done this before. And of course, I told you before, I freestyle my work. So I was thinking that I would just kind of start from here, and I will do a long chain of about 100, and I will do the same thing here, long chain of about 100, and then I will work my stitches around that. I'm going to just bring my yarn in here, and then I can show you guys quickly how I'm gonna do that, and then of course you will be able to do it however I'm doing it. Or if you think, like I said, this is absolutely foolish, then don't follow my instructions. Your sweater is technically finished from here. Okay, sorry, I had to find the beginning of my yarn here. So the way I'm gonna do that, like I said, is I'm going to do a long chain of about 100 on one side, and then a chain of about 100 on one side. So we're going to assume that this is the front of our sweater, and the other side is going to be the back. So I'm going to just kind of, maybe not quite at the beginning here, maybe let's say at this start here is where I will start doing my chains. So to do that, I'm going to do a slip knot just like this. And I apologize for the change of lights here. I was crocheting and using natural light, and then now it's dark, so I have to use artificial lights. So the work hopefully will not look too different in terms of the color saturation. So anyway, so I'm just gonna go into this here, and I'm gonna skip to the next part here, and I'm going to start my chains from here. So I put my work like that, and then I start my chain of 100. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is my chain of 100 here, which is going to be part of my scarf. And I'm going to cut the yarn here because we're gonna work on the other side as well. So I'm just gonna slip stitch here and close it off like that. And then on the other side, so this is just a long chain right now like this. On the other side, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm going to come in, and in this section here, just like I did on here, on this section here, I'm going to put my hook through. At first I will do my slip knot like that. I'm gonna pull that like that, and then in this section here I will put my hook through, then I will start my chain of 100 on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, my lovely, so this is my next 100 chains. I'm just gonna measure it here to make sure they're even, and they are. And now I'm going to do a chain of 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to skip those 2 chains, and on the third I'm going to go in and do a double crochet. Okay, and then I'm going to go in the back of the chain for the next stitch and complete a double crochet. And for the next, I'm going to go in and complete a double crochet. And then I am just going to work these all the way down my 100 chains until I get to the bottom where we started off our chain of 100 right here. Okay, so work your double crochet like this all the way to here. When you get to here, come back to the video and I will show you how to transition and work yourself on this side and then to work along the other chain. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my double crochet stitches here. So as you can see, it's a very long, this is 100 stitches here, and I have pretty much reached the part where I'm going to work the back of the sweater. So I'm going to pretty much show you how to start that because there's no stitches here. So all I'm gonna do after doing my last stitch there is I'm going to just go into this next stitch and complete a double crochet. And then I'm going to go into this space here and I'm going to complete a double crochet. And again, at this point, we don't have definite stitches that we're working into. So we're just kind of making space for ourselves to put our stitches in the gaps here, making sure that you're not doing them too far apart, but not too close to each other either. And we're just gonna keep going in like that and completing our double crochets. And as you can see here, this is the corner of the top of our sweater. We're going to work one into that corner here like that, and then we're gonna move on to the next spot here and do another one, and then we're gonna move on to this gap here and do one there, and then we're gonna move on to this gap here and do one there. And as you can see, we're just kind of making our spaces here to make our double crochet stitches. This one is too far apart, as you can see here, so I'm gonna undo that, and I'm going to do one right here. Oops, right into that gap like that, and then I will move on and do one where I had one previously here like that. So it looks like that. Okay, very nice and even. They're not too far apart, but they're not too close to each other either. Okay, so I'm going to continue this all around, and then when we get to where the other chains, the other 100 chains start, we're going to then move on and work down the chains like we did the beginning of this other side. Okay, so I'm gonna pretty much explain to you how to finish it off here because it's going to just be doing the exact same things that we did with the body of the sweater, where we're going to finish this row of double crochets, and then for the second row and onwards we're going to do double crochets in the back of our the back loop. Okay, so we're going to do back loop double crochets so that we have the same pattern that we have with our rest of the sweater here. We're going to have that with the scarf as well. So instead of explaining to you by doing it, I'm gonna just explain it by talking about it so that you can go and work on your project, and I can also go and work on my project here to finish it. Now, in terms of how much of the scarf to do, that is absolutely up to you. You can do 10 rows, you can do 12 rows, you can do 16, you can do 15, you can do however many number of rows you want to do, as long as you are just doing it using the same stitch here And of course, I guess if you want to do it using a different stitch, that is up to you. But I am showing you how I'm just doing the whole project in the exact same stitch, which is just back loop double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to do this. As you can see here, this is how my sweater looks, the back of my sweater. I'm going to work that all the way until I come back to here. When I get to the chain, so I'll do my final double crochet right here, and then I will jump right into working in the back loop of this very first stitch right here. So I'm gonna go into this back loop here and work my double crochet there, and then follow that all the way down the 100 chains that we created previously. And then, like I said, when you get to the end, you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and then begin your back loop double crochets. And then you will work that all the way to the other end. So we're going to work back here, then along the top of the chain of these here all the way to the end. When you get to the end, you complete your double crochet, chain 2, turn, and repeat. And then when you have the number of rows that you're satisfied with, which means the width of the scarf that you're satisfied with, then you will stop there, and then you will come back to the video. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Obviously, I'm going to come back to the video and I will show you guys how mine looks like, and then obviously by then you will know how yours have turned out as well. Okay, but obviously based on the pictures at the beginning of the video, you do see kind of how it turns out for me. So it's kind of like a little bit of a spoiler alert that way, but either way, I guess it would be more important for you to see how yours turns out to be. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm just completing my final double crochet before I go into the chain. And as you can see, actually I'm going to do one more here, one more right there, and then I'm going to jump right into doing my first one in the back loop of that first chain and completing my double crochet. And then from here on, we just complete our back loop double crochets. Okay, so we're grabbing the back of the foundation chain and completing a double crochet, and then going into the next and completing a double crochet. And this here is an optional. Okay, when you go in the back of the foundation chain to complete your first row of stitches, it's an option. You don't have to follow that. If you want to just go through these front loops here, it's absolutely up to you. So I'm going to show you so far how the neckline looks like. So this is the other side of our scarf so far, and then this is so far how this side looks like. Okay, like that. And then we're going to work those stitches down this long chain here, so that is as long as this one. And then we're going to work back and continue to work like this. And all this time we're working and doing our back loop double crochets like this. Okay, so I'm gonna let you guys work on that, and then based on how much yarn I have at the end, I may increase my sleeves here or bring them in so that they have a little bit of a snatched in calf, or I will just leave them like this. That is not decided yet. It's gonna depend on how much yarn I have, and I think I'm gonna make sure the scarf here is nice and thick enough that in the winter is very good to just wear this sweater inside of your coat, and then wrapping the scarf around your neck. Okay, I will see you guys when you've completed however many number of rows that you want for your scarf. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my scarf part of the sweater here. So as you can see, this is pretty much the wideness of it, and honestly I would have preferred to do it a little bit wider than this, but guess what, I ran out of yarn. So this is all I have out of the big skein that we had, and so I cannot go any further. So I ended up doing 7 rows altogether here, which I think is enough. The sweater is very, very, very chunky and very, very puff. So you're going to feel the warmth as soon as you have this crop sweater on, and of course then tying the scarf around your neck is just going to give you that extra protection from the cold. Okay, so what I will do here is I will just pretty much cut this yarn off. And I hate not having enough yarn left over, because what can I do with this? There's not much I can do with this. So I'm going to keep it somewhere in case maybe I find this yarn and I buy the same one for a different project, and I can use that. But I will put that on the side. I will just slip stitch this here to lock that in. And so I'm going to just kind of put it, hopefully you guys can see it properly. The table is small for work here, but I will just kind of place it in a way that you can see it. So this is how this sweater pretty much is. This is the scarf portion of it. It looks kind of like a collar on it, but it's obviously a scarf. This is the sleeve here. Okay, let me just see if I can actually just refocus my camera here. Yeah, I tried to refocus the camera a little bit. I just work on a very small table, so it's not gonna do much here. But obviously taking the pictures of it, as you have seen at the beginning, helps to see how it actually looks like. But for example, this is the collar. This is where your head will come through, and then your scarf will pretty much kind of wrap around. You can wrap this like this around your neck, bring it around to the other side, and bring this around to the other side, and you can have it like this. And then of course this is the crop sweater here, and then the big puffy sleeves like this. Okay, so again, because of not having enough yarn, we're gonna leave our sleeves kind of just flared out like this. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty much it. So all I have to do now is just I'm gonna obviously weave in the strings that are hanging here and whatever else I have hanging strings anywhere, and then that's it. So I'm not gonna take any more of your time. I really hope you try this one out, and I hope you have watched it to the end, because you are actually watching it to be able to make it or interested in making it. So thank you for doing that. And if you have not yet subscribed, I would like to remind you to subscribe. It's a way to help me and to increase my algorithm and to make the channel bigger and bigger, so that I can make more and more things for you guys. And of course, make sure you drop a comment in the section below if you do have any questions or just want to say hello. Okay, so that's it here. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.